The second Nia's fingers closed around Minho Kang's wrist, three things happened at once. Her heart stopped, his breath caught, and a priceless Joseon dynasty moon jar shattered against marble. The sound echoed like a gunshot. She hadn't meant to fall asleep. The chair was the problem. Dark leather positioned like a throne overlooking Seoul's skyline. 16 hours of work had blurred her judgment. Morning shift at the diner, afternoon at the store, graveyard cleaning at Club Onyx. Her body ran on fumes. Mama Joy needs the surgery. The hospital won't wait. The chair swallowed her exhaustion whole. She woke to presence, not sound. The air thickened. The private elevator whispered, "Open." In the glass reflection, she saw him. Minho Kang, white shirt unbuttoned, sleeves rolled over inked forearms and bruised knuckles. Blood stained one cuff. Everyone knew the rules. No staff entered the VIP penthouse. Ever. Nia launched out of the chair, her legs buckled. She fell forward, hand shooting out on instinct. Her fingers closed around his wrist. Skin met skin. The world stopped. She expected violence. The stories said touch made him sick. Everyone whispered about the waitress who'd brushed his shoulder. Minho had vomited in the hallway, scrubbed his skin raw until blood ran pink. No one touched Minho Kang. Instead, his breath hitched, not in disgust, in shock. His pupils dilated. For one impossible second, relief flickered across his face. Then his body jerked backward. His elbow clipped the display table. The moon jar tilted. Time stretched cruel. Nia's reflection showed her horror. Mouth open, hand extended, unable to undo catastrophe. The jar fell. It exploded into glittering pieces. Gray ash puffed into the air, settling like snow across black marble. Silence crashed down. Nia's knees hit the floor. Tears blurred her vision. Words tumbled out broken. "I'm sorry, please. I just needed 1 minute. My mother. The hospital." Minho stood frozen, eyes locked on the shattered relic. When he spoke, his voice was dangerously quiet. "Do you know what that was?" Welcome back to Stories by Moonlight. Before we continue with Nia's fate, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from and what time it is in your corner of the world. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. She shook her head. He crouched down slowly. "It held my sister's ashes. She died in a fire when I was 8. That jar was 500 years old. The only thing I had left of her. She'd destroyed someone's grave." The elevator chimed. Security flooded in. 5 men in black suits, all armed. Minho's gaze traveled from Nia's tears to her hospital badge. Mama Joy Williams. Patient, 54782, critical care unit. Something shifted behind his eyes. "The jar was appraised at $200,000, he said calmly. "Add emotional value, add tonight's disruption, and pay her mother's hospital bill in full. Every test, every procedure. No questions." Nia's heart stopped. "Consider it a gift," Minho continued, voice soft and deadly. "And her new debt. How much total?" $500,000. "I can't. That's impossible." "You will. You belong to me until it's paid. You'll work where I decide. Live where I can see you. Follow every rule I set." He gestured to the guards. "Take her phone. Make sure the payment clears before sunrise. Move her to the guest suite. She stays here. Starting now." The guards escorted Nia into the elevator. She looked back once. Minho stood among shattered ceramic and ash, eyes holding nothing but cold calculation. The elevator doors sealed shut. When they opened, she stepped into a hallway she'd never seen. Marble floors, recessed lighting, paintings worth fortunes. "The suite is this way," the head of security said. "Your belongings will arrive within the hour. Mr. Kang has ordered a wardrobe for you." "I don't want his clothes." What you want stopped mattering when you sat in his chair. He opened a door. The guest suite was larger than her apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a massive bed. Heated floors, pristine, expensive, soulless, a cage lined with silk. Mr. Kang will send for you in the morning. Do not attempt to leave. Do not contact anyone. The windows don't open. The door locks from outside. He stepped back. The door closed. The lock engaged. Nia walked to the window. Seoul sparkled below. 10 million people who would never know her name. Her reflection stared back. 23 in a stained uniform, trapped by a man who couldn't stand touch. Except he hadn't pulled away when she grabbed him. The stories said physical contact made Minho sick, made him violent. But when her fingers closed around his wrist, his breath had hitched like relief. Like he'd been starving, and she was air. She collapsed onto the bed, still wearing her uniform, her mother's face the last thing she saw before darkness claimed her. "I'm sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry." Sleep came. But the nightmares followed close behind. Morning came with cold precision. No knock, just the lock. The head of security stood there. "Mr. Kang will see you now." Nia hadn't slept. She'd spent the night in her stained uniform staring at Seoul as it shifted from black to gold. $500,000. 20 years of labor. A lifetime trapped. She followed the guard through marble corridors lined with priceless art. They stopped at carved double doors. He opened them without knocking. Minho sat behind a massive desk, bathed in morning light. Black suit. White shirt. Every bruise hidden. He looked rested, controlled, untouchable. "Sit." Nia sat, gripping the armrests to stop her hands shaking. Minho slid a folder across. "Your mother's hospital records, surgery tomorrow morning, best surgeons in Seoul, private recovery, no expense spared." Relief crashed through her. "Thank you." "Don't. You're not being saved. You're being bought." He opened a second folder. Nia Williams, age 23. Dropped out of Yonsei when medical bills became unmanageable. 3 jobs, 16-hour days, living in a studio smaller than this office. Desperate, isolated. No one who would notice if you disappeared. His eyes were clinical. "That makes you perfect." "I have obsessive-compulsive disorder," Minho said quietly. "Severe. I can't tolerate disorder, contamination, or physical contact. Most people make me sick. Their touch feels like poison." He turned. "But you didn't." Nia's breath caught. "When you grabbed my wrist, I expected panic. Instead, I felt calm." The word hung between them. "I don't know why. What matters is you're useful. Until you pay your debt, you belong to me." He pulled out a contract. 10 pages. Terms for her captivity. $500,000. You'll work as my personal assistant. Live here. Be available whenever I require. Follow my rules without question. What rules? Everything has a place. You'll learn the system. Maintain it. Touch nothing without permission. His eyes locked on hers. And when the disorder becomes unbearable, you'll ground me. Ground you? Yes. How long? 7 years. If you're obedient. If you follow every rule. If you don't make mistakes. And if I refuse? Minho's smile didn't reach his eyes. Your mother's surgery gets cancelled. You leave with nothing. Checkmate. Nia signed every page. Each signature sealed her fate. Minho locked it away. You start immediately. First rule, this penthouse operates on schedule. Breakfast at 7, lunch at noon, dinner at 7. You eat at the counter, never at my table. Second rule, disorder makes me sick. Books aligned by height, glasses by size, towels folded in thirds. Fix disorder immediately. Third rule, when I'm working, stay silent. When I'm injured, treat the wounds. No doctors, no questions. His eyes darkened. Most important, when I lose control, when I can't breathe, you don't run. You touch me, ground me, no matter what I look like, no matter how violent it becomes. What if I can't? Then you're useless. I don't keep useless things. Subscribe now to see how Nia survives as Minho's captive. The rules? Darker than you imagine. He pressed a button. A woman entered with garment bags. Your wardrobe. Business casual. Nothing revealing. Nothing bright. You represent my household now. The woman left. 30 minutes to change and return. We'll begin orientation, starting with why that jar was priceless. At the door, Nia stopped. Nia. Minho's expression was unreadable. Your mother will never know what you sacrificed. As far as she's concerned, you got promoted. Better pay. A generous employer. Mercy. Thank you. Don't thank me. Your debt keeps you here. I need you here. Nia changed. Black pants, silk blouse, heels. In the mirror, she barely recognized herself. Professional. Put together. Erased. Her real phone was gone. Replaced with a new device. Limited contacts. Restricted access. A leash disguised as luxury. She returned with 2 minutes to spare. Sit. Let me tell you about the jar you destroyed. Why you'll spend 7 years paying for a dead girl's ashes. The moon jar had been commissioned by his great-grandfather during the Joseon dynasty's final years. White porcelain, perfect symmetry, a vessel for precious things. When Minho's sister died in the fire that killed his parents, he'd kept her ashes there. For 20 years, it sat untouched. Sacred. The only piece of his childhood that hadn't burned. Her name was Minji, he said quietly. She was 6. I promised to protect her. His voice didn't break, but something behind his eyes did. I failed. Nia understood. She hadn't just destroyed an artifact. She'd shattered the last connection Minho had to the sister he couldn't save. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't pay debts. Work does, obedience does, 7 years of your life does. He stood. Now let me show you how this household operates. And Nia, cold steel. Don't make me regret keeping you alive. 3 days passed in rigid routine. Nia learned Minho's world operated on invisible rails. Every object had coordinates. Every action had sequence. Breakfast at 7. Coffee black. Toast cut diagonally. Newspaper folded in thirds. If the fold was wrong, he couldn't eat. She watched him check locks. 3 times, clockwise. Watched him arrange pens by length, books by height, dishes by size. Watched his hands shake when disorder crept in. The OCD wasn't preference. It was survival. On the 4th morning, Minho came home bleeding, 3 a.m. Uneven footsteps. White shirt soaked red. Syndicate dispute, he said. Get the medical kit. She retrieved it, organized like surgical theater. Minho had removed his shirt. Old scars, fresh wounds, a gash along his ribs. I can call a doctor? No. Doctors touch me. They make it worse. Nia knelt beside him. I've never stitched a wound before. Then learn. She cleaned the gash with antiseptic. Minho didn't flinch. She threaded the needle with shaking hands. The first stitch was clumsy, the second better. By the 5th, she'd found rhythm. Minho's breathing slowed. Not from pain relief, from her proximity. Your hands don't hurt, he said quietly. Everyone else's hands feel like acid, like insects crawling under my skin. But yours, he looked at her. Yours feel like silence. Nia finished the last stitch, tied it off, bandaged the wound. Minho caught her wrist. Do you understand what you are to me? You're not a person anymore. You're medicine, the only thing that makes the disorder quiet. The words should have terrified her. Instead, Nia felt something shift. Power, maybe. Or its shadow. Then I guess you need me, she said softly. Minho's eyes darkened. Don't confuse necessity with mercy. I need you the way a dying man needs morphine. That doesn't make you safe. It makes you essential. He released her wrist and stood. Clean this blood before it stains. I'll be in my office. If you're still watching, you're invested. Subscribe now. Because what will break your heart in ways you won't see coming. The pattern repeated. Min-ho invented reasons for proximity, asked her to straighten his tie, requested she organize his desk while he worked, called her to review schedules at midnight. Each time, his breathing steadied, his hands stopped shaking. The chaos quieted. Nia became his anchor. She hated how much she didn't hate it. 2 weeks in, the disorder spiraled. Nia woke to crashing sounds, ran to the living room, found Min-ho surrounded by destruction, books thrown, furniture overturned, glass shattered across the floor. His hands were bleeding where he'd struck the wall. He was hyperventilating, eyes unfocused, lost in panic. Min-ho! Don't. He backed away. Everything's wrong. The angles are wrong. The spacing is wrong. I can feel it crawling. His words dissolved into gasping. Nia stepped through the chaos. Glass crunched under her bare feet. She reached for him slowly, giving him time to pull away. He didn't. Her fingers closed around his wrist. The same place she'd grabbed that first night. His pulse hammered against her palm, too fast, too erratic. Breathe, she whispered. Count with me. 1. Min-ho's eyes found hers. 2. His breathing hitched. 3. Slower. 4. His shoulders lowered. 5. The panic receded. Min-ho's forehead dropped against her shoulder. Not an embrace. A collapse. His entire body weight leaned into her, trusting her to hold him upright. They stood like that for minutes that felt like hours. His breathing gradually steadied against her neck, his hands unclenched. The storm in his mind quieted to whisper. I'm sorry, he said finally, voice raw. You shouldn't have to see me like this. It's fine. It's not. He pulled back. His eyes were red-rimmed, devastated. I'm a monster who bought your life because I can't survive without you. There's nothing fine about that. The honesty broke something in Nia's chest. What happened? She asked quietly. Tonight. What triggered it? Min-ho looked at the destruction surrounding them. Tomorrow is the anniversary, 20 years since the fire, since I watched my parents burn, since I let Min-ji die. His voice didn't break, but his hands did, trembling violently, betraying the control he fought to maintain. I promised her I'd get her out, he whispered. I was 8, she was 6. The fire spread so fast, I tried to go back. Min-ho, they held me back. The firefighters, they wouldn't let me. His breathing fractured. I could hear her screaming. I could hear her, and I couldn't. The sentence died. Nia pulled him back against her. This time it was deliberate, not grounding, comfort. Min-ho's arms came around her slowly, carefully, like he was afraid she'd disappear if he held too tight. For the first time in 20 years, Min-ho Kang slept without nightmares, held by the woman he'd imprisoned. Morning came too bright. Min-ho stood at the window, perfectly still. He hadn't slept. Nia heard him pacing until dawn. Footsteps measured, obsessive, trying to walk off demons. 20 years since the fire. I have meetings today, Min-ho said. Syndicate business. I'll be gone until evening. Do you want me to? No. Stay here. Don't answer the door. He left without breakfast. Nia spent the day maintaining his order. Called her mother. 5 minutes. Listened to Mama Joy talk about recovery. About the mysterious employer who'd saved them. He must be a good man, Mama Joy said. Nia couldn't respond. Min-ho returned at midnight. The elevator opened. She heard uneven breathing, stumbling, breaking. She ran. Found him destroying everything. Books torn, furniture overturned, glass shattered, blood on walls. Min-ho, get out! I can feel them burning. I can smell smoke. I can hear her screaming. He struck the wall. Knuckles split. Nia grabbed his wrists. Stop. You're hurting yourself. I deserve it. I let her die. I let them all die. You were 8 years old. I should have saved her. His legs gave out. They collapsed among destruction, blood and glass and shattered perfection. Minho's body shook, not crying, something breaking from inside. I promised Minji I'd protect her. We were playing hide and seek, then I smelled smoke. The fire spread so fast. Firefighters held me back. I could hear her screaming for me. Appa, help me. Appa, please. She kept screaming until the sentence died. Nia pulled him against her, wrapped her arms tight. Minho buried his face in her shoulder and let the control shatter. He didn't cry. He shook, gasped. You were a child, she whispered. It wasn't your fault. It was. No. Eventually his breathing steadied. His body went heavy. He didn't pull away. Just stayed, vulnerable and broken, trusting her. For the first time in 20 years, Minho Kang slept without nightmares. Chapter 4 isn't over. The real devastation is coming. Subscribe now, or you'll regret missing what happens when his family finds out. Dawn came with judgment. Nia woke to the elevator chiming, opened her eyes to find herself still on the living room floor, Minho's head resting in her lap, surrounded by destruction. The elevator doors opened. A woman stepped out. 60s. Elegant, cold, Chanel, diamonds. Her eyes swept the room. Chaos, blood, Minho asleep in Nia's arms. Madame Kang, Minho's grandmother, syndicate matriarch. So, this is the girl. Minho woke, sat up, put himself between them. Grandmother, silence. I heard rumors. My grandson, the untouchable heir, reduced to this by some cleaning girl. She looked at Nia with contempt. Stand up. Nia stood, bloody footprints on marble. What's your name? Nia Williams. American, black, working class. Each word a crime. Do you know what Minho does? The people he's killed? The blood on his hands? He's a monster, created by me, perfected by necessity. He doesn't need comfort, he needs strength. You're making him weak. The syndicate sees it, our enemies see it. You're a liability. Minho stood. Grandmother, enough. No, not enough. Not nearly enough. Madame Kang's eyes were steel. Get rid of her, today, or I will. No. The word hung in the air. Madame Kang turned slowly. What did you say? I said no. Minho's voice was quiet, final. She stays. Then you're choosing her over your family, over your position, over everything I built. Yes. Silence crashed down. Nia stepped forward. You don't understand. He's not weak. He's surviving. He's been alone since he was 8. Where were you when he needed someone through the nightmares? When he was scrubbing his skin raw? You created a weapon and called it family. Don't blame me for treating him like a human. The words rang through the penthouse. Madame Kang's expression didn't change, but something flickered behind her eyes. You have spirit, she said finally. Foolish spirit, but spirit nonetheless. It won't save you. The syndicate doesn't forgive weakness. And Minho. She looked at her grandson. You'll regret this choice. When they come for her. When they use her against you. When she becomes your greatest vulnerability. She turned toward the elevator. You have 1 week to fix this. Or I'll fix it for you. The elevator doors closed. Minho stood frozen. Nia waited. Finally, he spoke. Voice hollow. She's right. Minho. You should go. While you still can. Before they hurt you to hurt me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not asking. He looked at her, eyes devastated. I can't keep you safe, and I can't let you go. That makes me exactly what she said. Weak. Or human. In my world, they're the same thing. 3 days of silence followed Madame Kang's ultimatum. Minho retreated into work, left before dawn, returned after midnight, avoided Nia's eyes. The penthouse felt hollow. On the 4th morning, he placed an envelope on the counter. What's this? Your contract. Torn up. Your debt is forgiven. You're free. Nia's heart stopped. What? I talked to your mother's doctors. She's cleared for discharge. I've arranged an apartment, furnished. 6 months rent paid. Money in an account. Enough to start over. He wouldn't look at her. I can't keep you here. My grandmother was right. You're in danger because of me. The syndicate uses loved ones as leverage. You deserve better than being someone's medicine. Min-ho, don't. You have your freedom. Take it. Go be with your mother. What about you? I'll survive. I always have. Alone. Yes. Nia picked up the envelope. Freedom in paper form. It felt like a death sentence. When do I leave? Today. Car's waiting. Nia packed, changed into old jeans, old shirt, became herself again. She felt erased. The guard drove her to the new apartment. 2 bedrooms, windows that opened, everything she'd dreamed of. It felt like a cage. Mama Joy arrived that afternoon. Healthy. Smiling. My baby girl, you saved my life. Nia held her mother and said nothing about the price. 2 weeks passed. Normal job. Normal life. Normal hours. At night, she stared at the ceiling and felt nothing. The 3rd week, she visited Club Onyx, stood outside the building where she'd cleaned floors and fallen asleep in a forbidden chair. The doorman let her enter. She took the elevator to the executive floor. Min-ho sat at his desk, immaculate as always. But his hands shook. His eyes were red-rimmed. Nia, you shouldn't be here. I know. It's not safe. I don't care. Min-ho stood. Why did you come back? Because I'm an idiot. Because freedom feels like drowning. Because I miss you. That's not a reason to stay. This is, I choose you. Not because of debt. Not because of necessity. I choose you, Min-ho Kang. Your OCD. Your trauma. Your blood-stained hands. I choose all of it. Min-ho's control finally cracked. I can't protect you from my world. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to let me stay anyway. Nia, do you love me? The question hung in the air. Min-ho's answer came out barely a whisper. Yes. God help me, yes. Then that's enough. Before he could respond, the elevator chimed. Wrong. Min-ho's body went rigid. Get behind me. 3 men stepped out. Rival gang. Guns drawn. Min-ho Kang, your grandmother sends her regards. Min-ho shoved Nia behind his desk, lunged, disarmed the first, dropped the second. The shot echoed. Min-ho stumbled. Red bloomed across his shirt. Nia screamed. Security eliminated the threat. But Min-ho was down, blood spreading, breathing shallow. Nia pressed her hands against the wound. Stay with me. You don't get to die. Not now. Min-ho's eyes found hers. You came back. Of course I came back. I love you. Nia, you're going to survive. You're going to get therapy. You're going to learn to live. And you're going to do it with me. Min-ho's hand found hers. Bloody. Trembling. Partnership? Partnership, Nia confirmed. No more ownership. No more captivity. Equal ground. Or I walk. Deal. Paramedics arrived, loaded him onto a stretcher. Nia climbed in the ambulance, still holding his hand. Don't let go, Min-ho whispered. Never. 6 months later. The penthouse looked different, less austere, more lived. Books still aligned, but not obsessively. Dishes sometimes left in the sink. Min-ho sat in therapy twice a week, worked on exposure exercises, learned that disorder wouldn't kill him. Nia finished her degree, got a job she loved, kept her own apartment, but spent most nights here, on their terms, by choice. Tonight, Min-ho found her in the chair, the one she'd fallen asleep in that first night. That chair's taken, he said. Nia smiled. I know. Min-ho sat beside her. Not too close, not too far. Just right. I love you, he said. Simple, true. I know that too. They sat in silence, comfortable, chosen, free. Outside, Seoul glittered. A mafia boss with OCD and a cleaning girl with nothing to lose had found something worth more than freedom. They'd found each other, and that was enough. Thank you for joining us on this journey through love, trauma, and redemption. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to Stories by Moonlight for more tales that will keep you up past midnight. Drop a comment with your thoughts. We read every single one. Until next time, may your nights be filled with stories worth staying awake for. Sweet dreams, friends.